So you've just finished watching every slice of life anime ever created, and you've taken a good long look in the mirror to ask yourself, what's next? Should you go outside and try to make your own group of friends to enjoy the springtime of your youth with? Nah, friends are just a myth. The only logical way to fill the melon pan-sized hole in your heart is to take a trip to the source and experience your own slice of Japanese life. A common question that I see asked online is if Japan is actually anything like the way it's portrayed in anime. And just about every answer I could find all said the same thing. No, you filthy weeb, of course it's not. I may be paraphrasing a little, but the general consensus is a no. And I could not disagree with that more. The articles that I read all seem to kind of talk down to the reader and assume they're asking questions like, do people really run like this? If there's subtitles when people speak? Or if there's a harem of girls waiting for you as you get off the plane. But I refuse to believe that those are actually the questions people are asking. I mean, nobody watches an episode of Friends and assumes that all Americans have a pet monkey living in their affordable 2,000 square foot New York apartment. So today I want to share with you 5 ways that Japan is the exact same as it is in anime. Number 5, want to get lean? Eat your green. Onions, that is. Or as the Japanese call them, negi. Or as sociopaths call them, scallions. Probably not what you were expecting from this video, but hear me out, because this is one of my favorite parts about Japan. I'm talking about convenience store culture. If you've watched your fair share of anime, then there's no doubt that you've seen people walking around holding plastic bags with the little stems of green onions poking out the top. And I cannot tell you the amount of times that I saw this exact thing happen while I was in Japan. No matter where you are, whether it's downtown Tokyo or rural Shiga, you can't walk more than a few blocks without finding a 7-Eleven or a Family Mart, or if you're really desperate, a Lawson. Every anime fan knows that whether you're missing an ingredient for dinner,
next up, time to cut some vegetables and meat.
Grabbing a snack with friends, or hoping to get isekai'd, there's no better place to go than a convenience store. It's not possible to travel around Japan without hitting one of these stops at least once a day, especially if you're on a budget. Not only do they serve high quality fresh food like fried chicken, and fried chicken, and fried chicken, and also meat buns and sushi and other things, but they also come equipped with an ATM that accepts foreign cards, which is an essential tool for any traveler. Just like in anime, these places are always packed with groups of teenagers buying snacks, businessmen getting their coffees, and sweet old ladies buying green onions. Number 4, don't get wrecked, show some respect. A common trope of Japanese culture is just how much everyone respects public spaces and the people in them, especially your elders. But that's gotta be just in anime, right? There's no way teenagers would be that well behaved, especially when adults just don't understand. Well, if anything, this is actually played down in anime. For the most part, whenever anime characters are shown riding the train, they keep to themselves and quietly talk to the person next to them. And whenever there is an accidental outburst,
Mommy, don't look at her.
Everyone on the train acts like they just saw a crime be committed. And honestly, calling it a crime really isn't that much of a stretch. When riding public transit in Japan, the rules are keep your voice down, don't talk on the phone, and don't even think about eating. I challenge you to find a single anime scene that someone's shown eating while riding the train or bus. People take these conventions really seriously, and even accidentally causing a scene can be pretty embarrassing, which I definitely don't know anything about, because I wouldn't dream of putting my bag in the overhead compartment with my water bottle not properly secured so that it falls to the ground, making a loud bang and rolls to the other side of the train. Baka, who would do that? Almost every interaction I've seen has been extremely polite, always using the correct words and honorifics. And yes, people bow to each other literally all the time. So much so that it becomes a hard habit to kick once you go back home. Number 3, don't be lewd or you'll get booed. The most frustrating part about watching romance anime is that it takes 3 seasons and a movie for the characters to build up enough courage to... Oh god, I can't say it, this is so embarrassing. Hold hands. This stems from public displays of affection being somewhat looked down upon in Japanese culture. Obviously, I have no insight into what people do behind closed doors, and it's not like you're gonna get thrown in jail for your hands accidentally brushing when the train brakes too hard, but compared to the way that couples act in North America, people are definitely more reserved. So you'll have to find another way to show that special someone you care, like giving them a novelty Kit Kat on White Day, or greeting them with a nice loving Number 2, a passion for fashion. Now, I'm not sure how much of this is life imitating art, or art imitating slice of life, but people in anime tend to dress pretty similar to what they do in real life, just a little more exaggerated, obviously. And I'm not just talking about students always wearing uniforms, or salarymen always wearing suits, which both are true by the way, but I even saw a lot of similarities in more unique looks, such as punk, skater, traditional, wealthy, and even a chunibyo or two. Like, literally wearing an eye patch. Obviously nowadays, just about everyone wears a face mask, but Japan was doing it long before it was cool. Because it rains a lot in Japan, and everyone knows that if even a single drop of rain hits your head, it's an instant fever. Seeing someone wear a mask in Japan is about as common as a pro tag's hair covering his eyes. So yeah, always. Number 1, just on the screen, or is it really that clean? I left this one for last because it is by far the hardest to believe. Both Western and Japanese media tend to portray public spaces as being very pristine, without any trash or dirt muddying up the frame. Which is obviously just Hollywood fantasy, because in reality it's kind of hard to tell major cities apart from a landfill. But in Japan, oh boy, is there literally not a single piece of garbage to be found. Which is weird, because there's also not a single public trash can to be found. But thanks to societal norms and an overpopulated workforce, just about all public spaces in Japan are spotless. And that includes all public washrooms, like the ones found inside subway stations, which I'm not even sure are real things in the West, but if they were, I'd imagine they'd look something like Gabrielle's apartment after a gaming bender, which is not somewhere I'd want to spend much time. Who am I kidding? Yes, I would. Even in party districts like Shinjuku or Amerikamura, where public drinking is not only accepted, but it's encouraged, you'll see way more drinks in people's hands than you will see cans on the land. There was actually only one time where I ever came across cookies tossed on the ground, and it may or may not have been my own. Again, all of this is just from my own experience in Japan, and I'm certainly no expert, so I'd love to hear if you guys have had similar experiences, or if I just see everything through weeb-colored glasses. Either way, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below. Otherwise, I might end up living in a subway restroom, which I guess if we're talking about the sandwich shop wouldn't be too bad.